welcome back. I'm here to talk to you about why are you still single? Okay? First of all, there's a lot of folks out there that don't want to get in a relationship, but there's a lot of people that do, and they're like, why am I not in a relationship? How come I can't find a good woman? How come I can't find a good man? Whatever. Or, in some cases, why can't I find any man or find any woman? you know, a lot of it, and I need to break it down in order to get to the main point of this video. First, the culture has completely shifted in how people date. And certain things that are linear in timeline are not linear anymore. And technology has a lot of blame for that. Because what happens is you see, and I'm going to use my favorite social media app, Instagram, to basically highlight it. You started to see this on Threads too. You'll have the woman or the guy, I'm going to focus on the woman, where it's like she'll post pictures out there. I mean, she's a 5 posing as an 8 or a 9, and she takes these terrific looking pictures. I mean, it's like she's damn near flawless in everything that she does or whatever. Even her body, she turns a certain way, she shows legs this way, she may show her ass in a certain way, and basically it's like everything is like everything that you ever desired, okay? And you look at that picture, it's like I want. Let me DM this girl, you know? Back in the day, obviously it was different. You had to go and meet women at certain places. You know, it could be at church, it could be, you know, at a house party, it could be at a club, anywhere, you know, and then you actually had to communicate with her and convince her that you two should go out and so forth. And in some cases, the woman might see you at a place or whatever, you know, if you're a guy, and then she will pursue you later, like, you know, she might take your number but won't give you hers, and then, you know, down the line, all of a sudden she's calling you and like, do you remember me from blah, 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 you know? That's how it was back in the day sometimes, you know? Or y'all might exchange numbers, have a conversation, and then it's like, this ain't gonna work. Y'all might hook up one time, and I'm saying hook up in the sense of y'all meet each other for lunch, dinner, you know, maybe a cup of coffee, and you just realize that ain't the one for me, you know. Whatever you thought at that particular point didn't work in that particular instance and so forth. Whatever. But you start seeing these pictures online, and I know I've had other videos about it before, but I wanted to get in depth about it. I always have to use the 20-20-60 rule. If you add all of that up, that's 100%. So 20% of the pictures you see online of people, they look exactly like their photo depicts them. No matter what angle, no matter what, you know, whether it's profile, head-on shots, whatever. They look exactly like that picture. That's the first 20. The second 20 is the people look better than they look in those photos because they just don't take good photos. You know, but there's just some people that in person, they're like, you know, gorgeous, handsome, whatever, depending on the gender or whatever. They look phenomenal in person, but then it's like you take a photograph of them, it's like that camera is not liking them at all. I don't know if it's the angle of their face, is just how they, you know, look when they take a picture. Some people don't smile in the picture. Some people look like, you know, or they smile too hard. They be like, you know, they do all kinds of stuff that makes that picture look a hell of a lot worse than what they are. They don't know how to stand and pose and whatever. They just don't take good pictures. But then when you see them in person, it's like, good God, she looks phenomenal. Then you have the 60% that either look a hell of a lot worse than their photos, or you have them that look different than their photos. And sometimes that different ain't always good and it ain't always bad. Because you might have a situation where it's like, okay, you was blonde in this picture and now you're brunette here, or you had multicolored hair in this picture and now you had jet black hair, whatever. It's like, it's just different. Sometimes that different look may kind of change how you feel attractive wise to that person when you actually meet them. So, with that being said, a picture is a picture. A video is a video. Some people don't video well either. Hell, I may not take good pictures. I may not video well. My voice may not sound right, doing this video now. And my look may not be crazy when I do it now, because sometimes, I have to change the light or whatever because, it's weird. Because sometimes I look head on, it's like my nostrils look different and, sometimes my eyes look crazy and all of this other stuff, And I've had people tell me before, it's like, they'll look at my picture, they might say, damn, okay, I like the way you look in the picture. Then when I take my glasses off, it's like, oh, it's like they're taken aback, like in person now, because how I'm looking on this video is going to be totally different of how I look in person. Oh, you actually look pretty damn good or whatever. And it's like, it's a shock to them. But then I may have the reverse. Some people may look at me and be like, you look a lot better in those videos and pictures than you do in real life. To each his own. Everybody got their thing. Everybody has their look or whatever. So, with all that being said, when you're doing it through pictures and online and DMing or whatever, you don't have the gauge of what that person is into. You don't have the gauge of what that person likes or dislikes or whatever. It's basically a hook 'em up. It's like, a show and tell. You got this, woman that's up there, you're highly attracted to her pictures. Then y'all start sending pictures back and forth of each other. Of course, you sending your best look or whatever. And then if y'all do hook up, it's for a, basically a one-night stand. You're not even going to commit to whoever you do this with. Because if you meet her, you ain't meeting her to just date. Y'all hooking up to hook up. And there's a difference between a hookup and a one-night stand. And it's like, duh, what's the difference between the two? It's the same thing. No, it's not. I feel like a one-night stand is you get into bed with somebody you have no idea who the hell they were. You didn't even know them a week ago. Or you might have saw them in passing and y'all like at the same party or whatever, and things happen. Y'all get attracted to each other, fall in lust with each other. You wake up the next morning and you're in her bed, she's in yours, or y'all in a hotel room and like, what the hell happened here? Even though you knew what happened because you participated into it and y'all consented with it. I'm not talking about some, date R thing. I'm not even going to say the word up here because YouTube and I have a, basically like a faux type relationship already, so I don't want to get in any more trouble with them by saying the word, but you know what I'm talking about. So anyhow, with that being said, it's like you two wake up next to each other, y'all realize what y'all did overnight or whenever it happened, and you didn't even know each other's names a week ago and all of this other stuff, and that's a one-night stand. Now, hook them up, okay? You're friends with whoever you decide to sleep with, whether it's a guy, whether it's a girl, whatever, and you knew each other, okay? You may not have talked on that level about sleeping with each other, but you knew each other. You talked, you may have argued with each other, you may, sat over there and picked with each other, like, you called each other out of y'all names, or you may have had great intellectual conversations, great, conversations about stuff like that, whatever. Y'all could have been talking about traveling to Mars or whatever, you know, and in a non-relationship sort of a way. There could be attraction there, but it's not something that you're really pursuing or whatever. It's kind of like you're friends. It's just dry conversation, whatever. Y'all just so happen to say, hey, what you doing Saturday? Well, I ain't got nothing going on Saturday. Hey, I'm gonna go to this restaurant. I don't want to go by myself. Hey, you want to go with me? Yeah, that'd be awesome. Let's do blah 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 blah. And while we're out, we can go walk the beach and do whatever. Okay, it's not a date, but you're just basically going out or whatever. You're just hanging out, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I live right over here close to the beach. Oh, really? Well, you know what? I can go over there. I got a Netflix account. We can log in and watch blah, blah, blah. All right. Whatever. Or the guy could be like, hey, the big game is coming on tonight or whatever. I'm, going to go to the house and, make some food and watch the game. Oh, yeah, I'll come over there or whatever. I can help you clean the kitchen. In your mind, in her mind, you're not even thinking about doing anything at all. It just, you go over there, you watch the game, or watch the movie or whatever, and next thing you know it, that next morning, y'all wake up next to each other. It's like, well, Carl, isn't that a one night stand? No. That's kind of a hook 'em up, because it's like you put yourself in the situation for it to happen. You may not have planned on it to happen, but it did. And you two, again, a week ago or whatever, y'all didn't even think about hooking up. You knew each other for years. You knew each other for months. Whatever. You knew each other for weeks even. But you never thought about getting together. That's a hook 'em up. Just like if you have a friend that you already had sex with, and then it's like y'all go somewhere, y'all do something in order to, get in a bedroom or whatever. That is a hook 'em up. That is not a one night stand. A one night stand can only happen one time, which is why they say it's one night. And it's somebody that you never met before, never dreamed about, didn't do no AI picture or nothing like that of this woman or guy, and then you two slept with each other without knowing each other. That's a prototypical one night stand, and that's the difference between a one night stand and a hook 'em up. So now getting back to the subject at hand, why are you still single? So with the technology now, it's like you're meeting people where you already have a sense of what they look like, how sexually attractive they are, because obviously you wouldn't be meeting up with them if you didn't find some sort of sex appeal to them. And basically, you go for third base to home, meaning that you start dating, then you start having a sexual relationship with them. There is no getting to know them, getting to know what they're about, who they are, what they're into, what they're not into. You're basically already there if you two, if that attraction is strong enough for you to take it all the way home. Then the sex is good to great, and you like the way the person looks, whatever. It's like, hey, we can do this, for a while or whatever. Then y'all start dating, even though you already had the sexual relationship, and you decide to take it to another level to be boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. So what winds up happening is, as you're with this person for a while, you start to get to know them, and you start realizing the law of diminishing returns. Like, I don't really know this person that well, and all of a sudden, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I don't like their stance on this. I don't like the way they interact with their family or friends. I don't like the work that they do. Something. It may be all of the above. It may be some nuance. I don't like the way she brushes her teeth. I don't like the way he stares at himself in the mirror or whatever. I literally had one good friend of mine. She was talking about some guy that she was dating that she was getting tired of. And one of the comments that she said to me was, he looks at himself more in the mirror than she does, or that he looks at himself, period, in the mirror more than he even looks at her, I was like, hell, I ain't got that problem. So it's like, you just never know what little tick that somebody does that will make you all of a sudden start looking at them in a different lens. And not to be negative about this video, there's also positive stuff that you will pick up on when you around a person long enough. It's like, that may ingratiate you to them a little bit more, because you start looking at them like, that's a genuinely good person. I like the way that person talks to pets. I like the way the person talks to kids. I like the way the person talks to the elderly. And just a people person, gregarious, nice, sweetheart. And, the person has good principles, good morals. And you start learning that, and then, you kind of hit the lottery on it. It's like y'all already done had relations with each other, and, you're in a relationship, and the stuff is building. Of course, there's no perfect person. There's always something that somebody does that irritates the hell out of you. But then there's a difference between somebody irritating you and then somebody playing against your pet peeves that becomes a nuisance after a while, where it's like, I don't know if I can be around this person. I don't know if I could ever marry this person. I don't know if I even want to live with this person. You know what's happening? You guys don't court each other. And some of y'all that's a millennial or whatever will have no idea what the hell courting is. Courting is getting to know the person before you start dating the person. That's what we used to do back in the day. It's like some of those nuances and some of those pet peeves that person had. It's not a catch-all. You're not gonna sit there and learn every single thing about that person when you're courting them. But you can learn more than enough about that person to know, one, do you really want to date this person before you even get into a relationship with this person? And during the courting process, if that person has a bad smoking habit, that person has way too much anxiety, they have an uncomfortable relationship with their parents, their ex is still in the picture, whatever. Whatever that may turn you off to get to that next level, you learn all of that then. And even during that courting process, you don't even have sex with each other. It's almost like a friendship with an unwritten and unsaid agreement that you would start dating if you two create this bond together, where you can start, narrowing out, kind of like the flow chart that I said many times before. Like, every yes will take you to this direction. Every no will take you to this direction. Every indecision may drop to this, and the yeses and nos can commingle, and it takes you to this place. This is how you got here. Every decision that you made in your life is put you to where you are now. Every non-decision you made in your life put you to where you are now. Every negative decision puts you to where you are now. Life is a flow chart. The same thing applies to relationships and so forth. It's like everything that you wanted to know about that person starts to come out in that courting process. Because if you're with a serial killer, or you with a woman that's one of those, queen bees and stuff like that, it'll come out in the courting process, and you might not want to be bothered with that. But then you might also find out some good stuff, like, okay, you know, she's in this civic group, and I have a lot of respect for that civic group or whatever. And that might make you more in line with her. You see what I'm saying? Or you might be doing something, you may drink a lot, you may smoke too much weed, whatever. And she may not be into that. You see what I'm saying? She may be like, I don't want this, you know, druggie in my house or whatever. Everybody has a different value system. That's why you court each other. You may like the person, but you may not want to be with that person. And then you may want to be with that person, and then you find out you don't really like them. That's life, you know. That's why you see such different odd couple relationships. You'll see a woman that, you know, she's a society 10 with a guy that's a damn 3 because, you know, she's made a bigger connection than just sex with this guy. Okay? We're assuming all of these relationships have good sexual relations from good to great. So we take that out the picture. We take out physical attraction from the picture because obviously there's something there because you two are with each other or you're willing to tolerate however that person looks. So we're taking that out of the picture. It's a deeper connection whether or not her religion might be a problem. I don't like that she's this particular religion because they believe in this, that, and the third, and maybe she talks about it too much, and I want to talk about here and now. This dude is into this particular politics and social stance that I don't believe in. You know, it could be anything. I don't like the way he treats his pets. I don't like this. I love this. I love that. That's what the courting process do. And if you get to know some of these people early on before you go all the way with them, it would eliminate a lot of people, you know, wind up getting married or being in long-term relationships with somebody that has the law of diminishing returns, and then you start hating them. And it's like, then you start having this man bias or woman bias where it's like, you know, I'm not going to get with no woman that talks this way and act this way. I'm not going to get with no man that thinks he's, you know, he's this hyper, you know, he's just this toxic, hyper masculine guy. I don't want to be bothered with him or whatever. And I'm not going to get with that feminist, Pocahontas looking woman, blah, blah, blah. You know, it eliminates all of that because you start to get to know the individual and stop applying all of this stuff to all men, all women, and all groups or whatever, because you're getting to know them. Their value system may be different. You may date somebody that look and act exactly like your ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, whatever. And they may have the same personality, the same nuances. You hate one, but you love the other. Because just a little bit difference is there between the two where it's like, okay, I can get with that. And obviously the opposite, where it's like, all right, I can't get with that. But you don't know all of that stuff until you start courting each other, you know? And that's how you develop a good relationship. You got to get to know each other. You got to believe in each other. You got to turn that love up and caring up in order to be with a person a long time. You know, the difference between friends and, you know, that's not in a relationship between friends and a relationship is the caring increases more. You start caring about what that person's into. You want to help that person a lot more. You want to believe in that person a lot more. That admiration goes up. That love goes up. You got to get to know them in order to get to that spot because, you know, forget the lust, forget the look, forget all of that stuff. Until you stop believing in who you're with and you two make that internal connection with each other where it's like, you know, one is on this level thinking it, the other one's doing it, the other one's doing it, the other one's thinking it, all kinds of stuff. And it's like, oh, I know she likes shrimp Alfredo, so I'm going to make this for her for dinner. I know she likes flowers, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get her this. I know he's into technology. I'm going to get him the new iPhone, blah, blah, blah. Stuff where it's like, it's nonsensical, but it plays towards each other. And you develop that caring part where it's like you have a life partner more than anything else. But a lot of people don't get there because they don't get to know who the hell they're with. And a lot of these relationships break up because you didn't really know who that person was. You was just sexually attracted to them, and you had some things in common, but then the stuff that grated against your pet peeves fell apart. And this is for the people that complain about being single, not the ones that want to be single, because you have some people out there like that too. They don't want somebody in their life. And because you're single doesn't mean you're alone. You may date, you may have sexual partners and stuff like that, but you're not in a relationship. There's a difference between the two. Single doesn't always mean alone. All right, that is all I have, and I kind of did a skim highlight type of thing, but maybe that's why you're still single. All right, until the next video.